here's Brody Brazil.
Well, despite what I would say is significant opposition and a lot of controversy surrounding the project, 76th Place, the potential future home of the Philadelphia 76ers, has been approved by a Philadelphia City Council committee, and now it's on to the proper City Council, maybe as soon as next week, for an ultimate vote on this project. Let me first begin with what the plans are, just to bring you up to speed. In case you haven't been following this, 76th Place is a $1.5 billion new facility, new home of the NBA basketball team, privately financed, right? So usually that's the controversy. How much is the public going to pay? This is a privately financed project. The team is taking care of all the construction costs. It's in a location called Market East. It is adjacent to Chinatown. I know on previous videos I may have said it was in Chinatown. It is adjacent to Chinatown, but there could be some potential impacts to the Chinatown neighborhood due to construction and operation eventually of this facility. But going back to the vote, yesterday it was approved 12-4 by the committee and now could likely go to the city council officially for a vote to move it on next week. And this would be obviously right before the Christmas holiday, right before the winter recess session of the city council. So it does feel somewhere between expedited and rushed, to say the least. And again, going back to some of the significant opposition, like the vote was pretty one-sided, 12-4 is a considerable yes. But opposition from the public is basically based on three things. Again, nothing to do with the private financing. Everybody's on board for that. But a lot of citizens are worried about the disturbance during construction and eventual operation to Chinatown. The fact that this project was lacking a significant enough community benefits package and funding. We'll talk more about that in a second. And then transportation concerns, gridlock, people driving to games instead of taking public transit. I realize that there is a transit station would be part of this project, like actually on the footprint in the facility, but there are some worries about traffic and especially downtown Philadelphia. And the Sixers lease ends, by the way, at the Wells Fargo Center in 2031. So this is not necessarily a right around the corner thing. This is not necessarily something that has to be rushed. It's been on the table now for more than a year, but it does seem like it might be reaching a certain conclusion right around the corner. Going back to the community benefits aspect, and this was one of the last looming things. Obviously, the disturbance to Chinatown and the transportation stuff, all of that has been existing, but the community benefits were a sticking point. Now, the team's original offer was $50 million over 30 years. The team also said that they might be willing to budge just a little bit on that. Meanwhile, the city had reportedly been asking for a $100 million community benefits package. That's certainly double the team's commitment. Now, the agreement here out of this committee that goes to the now city council, the agreement was made, what they'll vote on is a $60 million package over 30 years. So only $10 million more than the team's initial suggestion. And far, by the way, from the $165 to $300 million that some groups and some council members were looking for in terms of a community benefits package here. So this is kind of the big thing moving forward, the community benefits aspect. And again, all of this part of a privately financed facility, but usually a community benefits package is part of a big sports project here in the 2020s. The city has also committed $20 million, the mayor was a part of this, for affordable housing in this project. So this is not coming from the team, but it's another $20 million that goes towards this area and any concerns there might be from the housing aspect. So some council members, including obviously the four who voted against this, were upset at the situation. They felt like negotiations simply didn't go well. The Sixers had it easy, and the city didn't get nearly anything that it was searching for out of these negotiations. A statement from council members Lando and Gauthier went like this, quote, City Council proposed a strong $100 million community benefits agreement with extensive anti-displacement measures created with input from community leaders. It is deplorable to learn the 76ers and their billionaire owners think our communities are worth only $60 million over 30 years. They recently gave a single athlete $193 million over 3 years. End quote. And I'll pause for a second to let that sink in. Yeah, I mean, if you do think about $60 million over 30 years, It's $2 million a year. What does that get you in terms of community benefits? Here's another statement from obviously a group that highly opposes this project, the No Arena Coalition. It was shocking to see council leadership declare a bottom dollar figure of $100 million and completely capitulate to pressure less than 12 hours later. We've wasted months of time and countless hours of hearings for barely any change in a deal that was written by the developers more than 2 years ago. It's an embarrassing indication of the lack of strategic and tactical skills from a largely rookie council who got played. The public wanted a little bit more out of this deal. They just feel like, considering the location, considering the changes it might impart on the neighborhoods in downtown and Chinatown, they wanted to get a little bit more out of this deal, and it just seems like they were not able to get it out of this project. So we're one step closer. There could be that official vote as soon as next week by the city council. Let me get to my takeaways on this. It really feels to me like they're trying to expedite this vote before the holidays, before recess. Are there new city council members taking new positions in the new calendar year? Like, they're trying to get this done. And I know the Sixers obviously would like an answer sooner than later so they can move on, so they can start planning, so they can start to get their ducks in a row. They can't wait forever either. They also have put their offers out there and conversations out there to Camden, New Jersey. I take it back. It's the other way around. Camden, New Jersey has reached out to the 76ers, so they probably need to respond and answer to Camden in a timely fashion and manner. So they're trying to get this figured out with the city of Philadelphia first. At least I give the Sixers that. They're not, I mean, they've started to play Camden into this conversation, but they're trying to still get this done before they totally go on a different direction to New Jersey. It's very clear now, by the way, what the deal is and isn't for everybody. This isn't like an $85 million thing and it's close to the $100 million. It's 60. It's only 10 away from what the Sixers proposed community benefits wise, and it's 40 million away from what the city council initially asked for. Like, there was no wiggle room here at all on the Sixers side. And now the city is on the hook for $20 million to kind of help this go through, help grease this through. So it's very clear what this deal is and who won the deal. Now it'll be up to the votes, and it seems like it could pass. If it was 12-4 out of the committee, wait until it goes to the council, it could probably pass by a significant margin. But it seems like publicly there is still some pretty active opposition to this approval. Even last night after this went through, a lot of community members were obviously present in protests with signs and chants and all that. But a bunch of people drove their cars right through downtown Philadelphia to create traffic to try and simulate what this project might be like if there's Sixers games and events on a regular basis, how bad traffic is going to be car-wise on the streets of downtown Philadelphia. I say all that, but I do need to step back. You know, in this day and age, everybody would be critical. If this were a publicly financed project, I mean, that would really seem to sink the ship. At least you have to give the 76ers this. Nobody's asking for public tax dollars. There are other parts about this, upgrades to transportation, maybe some infrastructure that the city would be responsible for. But at least the Sixers are saying, we will take care of the building of this. We're not asking for $50 million, $100 million, $200 million. So there is some give and take there. And at least of all things, I give them credit. It's a rare situation I make a video here anymore about a stadium situation that is entirely privately financed. And that is the case here. Last thing I want to point out here in terms of a takeaway, there is still so much in between time for this project between now and when it might open in 2031. And in between time, I mean, it's good for planning, I suppose, but it's not good for the cost of inflation and project costs. And I mean, a lot of times you have to get this approved now and start construction in the spring. You got to move on this quickly because there's going to be time for opposition. There's going to be time for financial stuff to happen. It's just, there is such a long runway from now till like essentially groundbreaking on this project that it might offer some more complications down the road. I don't even know which specifically, but there are a number of different things that could happen to make this even more difficult. But for right now, 76th place is in fact one step closer. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit surprised that this vote passed out of the committee as largely as it did, as soon as it did, and even facing opposition. Now it's going to be up for the city council vote. And again, likely as soon as next week, right before the Christmas holiday. That's the end of this video. Thumbs up down below. If you would, that would greatly help me and this video and this channel. And also one more thing before it ends. Don't forget to go down there and make sure that you've already hit that subscribe button. That means I definitely get to see you back here next time.